It started like any other chaotic news cycle in 2025, half scandal, half stand-up routine. Former President Donald Trump had just announced his latest greatest rally of all time in Tampa, Florida. The usual cast was there, red hats, booming country music, and Trump bragging about record crowd sizes that clearly weren't real. But what nobody expected, was Jim Kerry. Yes, Jim Kerry, not to be confused with Jim Carrey the actor, this was Jim Kerry, an ex-CIA analyst turned independent journalist, who had recently exploded onto the political scene with a no-BS YouTube channel called Carry On. Think Edward Snowden meets Jon Stewart, but with way more receipts. Jim was known for obliterating political figures live on air. But nobody thought he'd actually show up at Trump's rally, in person. He didn't just show up. He brought the fire. Standing just outside the press tent, Jim held a rogue live stream that drew over 18 million viewers in under 6 hours. The thumbnail? A bold title splashed across his screen, Trump's biggest lie yet, I have the tapes. Trump's team tried to ignore it, until Jim dropped the bombshell. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim said, holding up a USB stick with a smirk, this contains unreleased audio from Trump's private calls in 2021, where he admitted to knowing the election wasn't stolen. Word for word. I've verified the voice, the timestamps, and I have multiple witnesses who were on the calls. The crowd went dead silent. Then pandemonium broke out online. Kerry leaks Trump exposed Jim the Destroyer. Twitter, TikTok, even Facebook looked like they were melting down in real time. And inside the rally, Trump, who had just taken the stage, paused mid-sentence. Excuse me, what the hell is this Jim Ferry thing people are screaming about? Seconds later, his campaign manager rushed the stage and whispered something into Trump's ear. His face turned sheet white. He grabbed the mic, stared at the audience, and muttered, "They're lying, all of them. I never said that. Fake news." Too late. Screens all over the rally began lighting up with the leaked audio. And it was undeniably Trump's voice saying, "Of course I know we lost, but we can't say that publicly. If we act like we won, they'll believe it. The base will believe anything I say." Gasps. Screams. Phones held high. Jim Carrey, meanwhile, was calmly sipping coffee, nodding into the camera. "I told you," he said, "this wasn't about politics. This was about truth." After the rally imploded, Trump vanished from the stage like a magician pulling off a botched escape trick. 1 second he was red-faced and shouting, "Witch hunt." The next, he was airlifted out in a black SUV surrounded by Secret Service. Back at Mar-a-Lago, things were melting down. Staffers were frantically trying to unplug TVs, Wi-Fi routers, and anything connected to the internet, because the leak had gone fully viral. CNN was calling it the political earthquake of the decade. Fox News was torn between pretending it didn't happen or blaming Hillary Clinton anyway. But on Twitter, Jim Carrey was still live, calmly dropping part 2 of the tape. "I'll release the full hour-long audio tomorrow," Jim said, seated in front of a dimly lit wall with a glowing neon sign, "Lie to the people, pay the price." But tonight, here's a little preview of Trump talking about fake donors and milking the patriots. The next clip played. Trump again, "They'll keep sending money. As long as I say it's for a recount, they won't question it. We made $200 million off this already. Can you believe it?" The internet exploded again. Even Truth Social couldn't contain the backlash. Trump tried to go live on his platform, slamming Jim Carrey as a deep state hologram created by George Soros and windmills, but the live stream glitched halfway through, because Mar-a-Lago's internet was overloaded with conspiracy theorists refreshing for updates. But the real kicker? Elon Musk joined the chat. He replied to Jim's post with a single word, "savage." Within an hour, the Washington Post confirmed the audio's authenticity using advanced voice forensics. Former aides began lawyering up. A congressional committee announced an emergency session. Meanwhile, Jim Kerry's subscriber count skyrocketed past 60 million. Trump, holed up in a gold-plated room, reportedly threw his phone across the room, shattering a $12,000 Fabergé egg. "This is a coup," he allegedly screamed. But no one outside the mansion was buying it anymore. The MAGA faithful were confused. Some started burning their red hats in TikTok videos. Others demanded refunds for donations to the fake recount fund. And Jim just posted a cryptic tweet, "I haven't even dropped the real tape yet. Stay tuned." By the next morning, America was glued to their phones like it was the Super Bowl, the finale of a reality show, and the second coming all at once. Hashtags were trending worldwide. Trump tapes Kerry drop golden meltdown at exactly 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jim Kerry went live again, this time from an undisclosed bunker-like location, with an American flag behind him and a countdown timer ticking down in red. The chat was going insane. 10 seconds, Jim said, cracking his knuckles. This one ends careers. Boom. The screen cut to black. Then came the final tape. Trump's voice echoed, crystal clear, in a private phone call dated December 2020, just days before the Capitol riots. "Look, Mike's being a wimp. If Pence doesn't flip the count, we'll turn the crowd on him. Just say the word and they'll eat him alive. That's loyalty. That's power." The audio then caught a chilling silence, followed by laughter. Trump laughing. "We built this cult. Might as well use it." The live stream chat exploded. "Firecracker, firecracker, firecracker, bomb, bomb, bomb." People couldn't believe it. Even seasoned reporters were posting "WTF" in real time. The New York Times went live with a headline, "Insurrection by Design, Trump's Intent Revealed." Republican lawmakers began scrambling. Some denied the tape. Some tried blaming AI. One guy from Florida claimed it was a deepfake created by Biden's dog. But forensic labs, including one from MIT, confirmed the voiceprint match. It was 100% Trump. And the date? Cross-referenced with Secret Service logs. No escape hatch left. That afternoon, Mike Pence himself released a brief but furious statement. "I never heard those words directly, but if this recording is real, then what I feared in my gut was true, he wanted me gone." The DOJ opened a new federal investigation within 3 hours. Jim Kerry, meanwhile, ended his stream with a stone-cold monologue. "They told you it was patriotism. It was a grift. They told you it was stolen. It was theater. And now the mask is off." He looked into the camera, dead serious. "Your move, America." In the distance, somewhere inside Mar-a-Lago, Trump was seen pacing barefoot, in a robe, screaming at a Golf Channel. But the internet? It had already moved on, to demanding handcuffs. 3 words no one thought they'd see in a CNN chirun flashed across every screen in America: Trump under arrest. The Department of Justice had opened a formal criminal investigation within hours of the final tape dropping. It wasn't just talk anymore. Grand juries were being assembled at lightning speed. Whispers turned into roars: sedition, fraud, conspiracy. But Jim Kerry? He was silent. Radio silent. No tweets. No streams. No cryptic memes. People started freaking out. "Where is Jim?" trended for 2 days. Then suddenly, boom, he reappeared live on MSNBC, sitting across from Rachel Maddow, calm as ever in his signature black hoodie. Behind him, a plain manila envelope labeled, "Fox Memo Leak." "They wanted to bury this," he said. "But I figured you all might want to see what Rupert Murdoch was telling his anchors off-camera the day after the insurrection." He opened the envelope and pulled out a confidential Fox News internal memo dated January 7, 2021, effective immediately: refrain from calling the Capitol attack an insurrection on air. Shift blame to Antifa or ambiguous leftist agents. Avoid any implication of Trump wrongdoing. He remains our key ratings asset. The studio went dead quiet. Rachel just blinked. So Fox knew, and still pushed the lie. Jim nodded. They didn't care who got hurt. They cared about ad revenue. Within 48 hours, 3 top Fox News anchors resigned live on air. Sponsors began pulling out. Tucker Carlson, attempting a comeback podcast, was forced to go live on Rumble from what looked like a shed in Montana. Meanwhile, Trump's inner circle started to crack. First it was Mark Meadows. Then Rudy Giuliani, who showed up to the DOJ in Crocs and a neck brace, claiming emotional whiplash. Then the biggest flip of them all, Ivanka. Leaked text surfaced showing Ivanka texting Kerry under a burner alias months ago. I tried to warn him. He wouldn't listen. He's going to burn it all down. But it was the next text that lit the internet on fire. Want the laptop? I still have it. That night, Kerry tweeted a single emoji, laptop computer, and the internet knew, this saga wasn't even close to over. The laptop arrived in a gray steel case, delivered to Jim Carrey's secure drop location by a mystery courier who wore sunglasses at night. Classic spy movie energy. But this wasn't Hollywood, it was Ivanka Trump's personal archive, and what it contained would soon make every political scandal in U.S. history look like spilled milk. Jim didn't release everything at once. Nope. He teased it like a Netflix series. Episode 1 drops tomorrow, he tweeted. You're not ready. And he wasn't wrong. Laptop leak, Episode 1, the draft coup at 7 p.m. sharp. Kerry posted a 23-minute video titled, The Coup PowerPoint, made by Jared. Inside Ivanka's laptop was a PowerPoint deck, authored by Jared Kushner, outlining a literal plan to pressure the DOJ into declaring election irregularities. Seize voting machines in suspicious states. Invoke emergency wartime protocols to delay inauguration. Declare Trump interim president until fraud is resolved. The final slide. A graphic of Trump wearing aviators under the heading, Command-in-Chief rebrand, strong. Decisive. Patriotic. People thought it was satire. It wasn't. Former generals went on live TV looking visibly rattled. One said, this wasn't a fantasy. This was an operational outline. If Pence had wavered even slightly, this could have spiraled into martial law. Laptop leak, Episode 2, the group chat. The next day, Kerry dropped screenshots from a secret group chat titled Recount OPS Fire Fire Fire, including Eric Trump, Kimberly Guilfoyle, Roger Stone, and some guys with usernames like Red Pill Warrior 47. The messages? Eric, LOL, just told donors we need $$ for Georgia recount. Used it to pay the DJ at Mar-a-Lago. Face with tears of joy, Kimberly, raise as much as you can before January 6th. After that it's over. Tell them anything. Roger Stone, remember, chaos is the point. Laptop leak, Episode 3, the insurance folder. Then came the insurance folder, a hidden, encrypted file labeled, Do Not Open Unless I'm Dead. It was a trove of Trump's own voice memos to himself, recorded late at night like audio journals. One clip broke the internet, they'll never get me. Even if they do, I've already made deals. I know things. I own people. If this ship goes down, I'm taking half of Washington with me. And then he laughed. That same, unsettling laugh from the earlier tape. By this point, Trump tapes, Kerry leaks, and Laptop from Hell were trending non-stop. TikTok creators were doing dramatic reenactments. Netflix announced a docuseries in development mid-leak. Congress launched an emergency tribunal. Jim Carrey was called to testify. And Trump? Still holed up in Mar-a-Lago, now with 24 lawyers and a nervous parrot that reportedly keeps squawking, they're coming. And just when it seemed it couldn't go further, Jim Carrey went live again. His face calm. The words chilling, there's one last file. It involves foreign accounts. Names you know. Names you trust. Final drop. Tomorrow. This time, there was no countdown. No teaser. No dramatic monologue. Jim Kerry simply tweeted one word, now. And linked a live stream titled, The Final File, Red Gold. Over 90 million people tuned in within the first 30 minutes. Schools reported kids pretending to be sick. Offices saw productivity nosedive. Even world leaders were reportedly watching behind closed doors. The leak, Red Gold. Jim appeared on screen, no flag, no music, just a table with an old Lenovo laptop, running a PDF titled, Red Gold Ledger, Internal Trump.org/Kremlin Correspondence 2012 to 2023, verified. The document contained bank records, offshore transfers, encrypted emails, and handwritten notes from Trump, Ivanka, and Kushner. What did it reveal? That the Trump Organization had been secretly funneling money into a network of Russian and Emirati shell companies, tied to real estate laundering deals in Serbia, Belarus, and Dubai. Multiple luxury resorts used as off-the-books meeting spots. And most shockingly, a private crypto coin codenamed Red Gold, allegedly used to move money between Trump insiders and foreign oligarchs with no trace. But the real headshot came from a decrypted memo signed by VP Ops, cross-referenced and identified as Jared Kushner. Goal: establish post-presidency leverage via controlled debt. Make him too valuable to jail. Russia, UAE, and unnamed backers agree, protect the brand, use chaos. Jim paused. He looked directly into the lens. This wasn't about winning. It was about staying powerful. No matter the outcome. Then, he pulled out one more document, a signed letter of intent, dated just 2 months after the 2020 election. It was from Trump himself. If re-election fails, pivot to global network plan. Create alternate power structure. Influence markets, media, and future candidates. Never concede. DJT, the fallout: the U.S. government froze Trump's assets within 36 hours. Interpol issued a watch list for several Trump-linked offshore operatives. The Senate Intelligence Committee launched its first bipartisan criminal probe in 40 years. But it didn't stop there. Because Jim Kerry didn't just take down Trump. He named names, on both sides of the aisle. A bonus file revealed, 2 sitting senators, 1 Democrat, 1 Republican, had received Red Gold funding for foreign investment consulting. Several political influencers on both Fox and MSNBC had undisclosed payments routed through crypto wallets linked to the same network. A media firm tied to a major 2024 candidate was co-founded with Russian seed money in 2015. The media went feral. Subpoenas flew like confetti. The Capitol went into lockdown. And Jim Kerry? He posted a final message, white text on black: this was never about Trump. It was about the rot that let him exist. If you're shocked now, you weren't paying attention. Then he vanished. No live streams. No tweets. His studio? Empty. Some say he fled the country. Others say he's still watching. Final scene: Mar-a-Lago. Trump sat alone at the end of a gold hallway, watching the news on mute. The words on screen read, "Indictment's imminent." He reached for his Diet Coke. Shook his head. Whispered, "Damn. Jim." Fade to black. The world watched with bated breath as the trial, dubbed the trial of the century, officially began. Location: Washington, D.C. Defendant: Donald John Trump. Lead prosecutor: U.S. Attorney Helen Castillo. And the star witness? Jim Kerry. People camped outside the courthouse like it was Coachella. Protesters and supporters clashed in chaotic parades of cardboard signs, megaphones, and patriotic cosplay. Helicopters swirled above. Even CNN installed a hologram of the courtroom for live breakdowns. Inside, Trump looked smaller. Still defiant, sure. But the usual swagger? Gone. His legal team shuffled papers like they were trying to solve Sudoku with a shotgun to the head. Day 1, Jim takes the stand. Jim Kerry entered the courtroom wearing a dark suit, no tie. He walked like a man carrying a nation's skeletons in a backpack. State your name. James Allen Kerry. Occupation. Former intelligence analyst. Now. Truth teller. The courtroom murmured. He spent 6 hours on the stand, dropping names, dates, screenshots, and metadata so detailed it made the NSA sweat. He showed how Trump's team falsified internal campaign finance reports using dummy LLCs, WhatsApp convos between Eric Trump and agents promising support if political chaos continues. Audio clips of Stephen Miller coaching Rudy on how to cry convincingly on TV. And then, the bombshell, Jim revealed a handwritten note, tucked behind a portrait in Ivanka's laptop. It read, "If this fails, pivot to chaos. Run again to avoid jail. If we lose again, burn it all." DJT, cross-examination, Team Trump strikes back. Trump's lawyer, Clayton Grimm, a former TV commentator turned courtroom actor, tried to rattle Jim, "You're not a lawyer. You're not even a politician. You're a YouTuber with a grudge." Jim didn't blink. "Correct. I'm also the guy who found the tapes. While you were busy defending tweets." Boom. Laughter erupted. Judge slammed the gavel. But the internet already had the soundbite. "I found the tapes. While you defended tweets." Trending on TikTok with 12 million remixes in 24 hours. Meanwhile, Trump's inner circle implodes. During the first week of the trial, Steve Bannon tried to flee the country dressed as a medieval knight. Detained in customs. Again. Roger Stone posted an Instagram sermon blaming Taylor Swift for the downfall of Western civilization. Lindsey Graham suddenly took a spiritual leave in Monaco. And Ivanka? She was scheduled to testify next week, for the prosecution. "I loved my father," she told 60 Minutes. "But I won't go to prison for him." End of week 1. The courtroom was chaos. America was divided. The system was being tested like never before. But Kerry? He simply stepped off the stand, nodded to the judge, and walked past Trump without looking. Trump muttered, "This isn't over." Kerry replied, just loud enough for mics to catch, "For you. It is." It was the moment America didn't believe would actually happen, Ivanka Trump walking into a federal courtroom, not in heels and pearls, but in flats, with a folder labeled simply, "For the record." She wasn't just a witness. She was the prosecution's queen on the chessboard. The courtroom holds its breath. Ivanka took the stand like she was walking into a boardroom. Calm, deliberate, polished. But there was something behind her eyes, like the weight of a decade pressing against her ribs. Prosecutor Helen Castillo nodded. "Ms. Trump, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth?" "Yes," Ivanka cut in. "Let's get this over with." You could hear someone in the back whisper, "Damn." The confession that shattered the dynasty. "I tried to stop it," she began. "I told him. I begged him. I said, 'Daddy, it's over. Let it go.' But he wouldn't. He couldn't. He said, 'If I admit I lost, I lose everything.'" She then reached into the folder and pulled out a set of handwritten notes. Dated January 3, 2021. They were talking points her father drafted for a private phone call with Republican legislators. "Remind them I can ruin them. Use loyalty, make it sound noble. Mention their families. Gently. One line, circled 3 times, the mob is an asset, not a risk." The courtroom gasped. Judge cut in, "Is that your father's handwriting?" Ivanka, "Yes. I watched him write it while drinking Diet Coke and yelling at Sean Hannity." Crossfire from Team Trump. Trump's legal team went full scorched earth. Clayton Grimm stood up like he was auditioning for Law Order, MAGA unit. "Ms. Trump, Isn't it true you benefited from your father's presidency? Ivanka didn't blink. Yes. And now I'm paying for it. So why should we believe you now? She paused. Looked directly at her father, sitting just feet away. Because I know exactly what he's capable of. Trump's face turned red. His fists clenched. He muttered something to his lawyer. Ivanka continued, he didn't just lie to the country. He lied to all of us, his family, his staff, his voters. He promised them a legacy. He gave them a fraud. Aftermath, betrayal goes viral. Clips of Ivanka's testimony went viral instantly. One TikTok edit with slow-motion piano music captioned, "When even your daughter won't save you," grimacing face, 24 million likes. Fox News called her the princess who turned on the throne. CNN called it the moment the Trump myth cracked wide open. Trump truth socialite, Ivanka was always weak. Sad. But insiders leaked he threw a chair at the wall during a break. Kerry watches it all. Jim Kerry didn't appear in court that day. He was seen outside, watching the live stream on his phone, sitting on a bench. A reporter asked him how he felt seeing Ivanka testify. Jim just smiled. Takes guts to dig yourself out of the family tomb. I respect it. Then he stood up, pulled out a notepad, and scribbled something down. A reporter peeked. All it said was, Trial, Act 2. The trial had lasted 34 days. Over 60 witnesses. Hundreds of exhibits. Leaks, memes, walkouts, secret memos, foreign shell companies, and the fall of a family dynasty in real time. But Trump wasn't done. Not yet. Because in a last, desperate move to derail the trial and win back control of the narrative, he made one final play, I'll testify myself. Gasps. Reporters scrambled. Jim Kerry, watching from the gallery, leaned forward. The judge paused, visibly stunned. The testimony heard round the world. Trump shuffled to the stand like a washed-up Vegas magician trying one last trick. Still in his trademark blue suit, red tie, though noticeably disheveled. The crowd? Silent. Then he began. They say I lied. That I stole. That I plotted a coup. But let me tell you something, I did it for you, the American people. Someone in the gallery coughed. Another laughed. The judge banged the gavel. But Trump powered through, delivering a half-speech, half-meltdown hybrid of campaign rally and therapy session. The media wanted me gone. The deep state wanted me gone. Even my daughter, my sweet, confused daughter, stabbed me in the back. But I'm still here. Because I was right. Prosecutor Castillo stood, arms folded. She let him dig. You want to lock me up for fighting? For not surrendering? Fine. But history will remember me as the one who stood tall when the swamp tried to drown America. He paused. Looked straight at the jury. You can convict me. But I'll still run. And I'll still win. The cross. Castillo approached slowly. No notes. Just one question. Mr. Trump. Did you lose the 2020 election? A long pause. Then, for the first time, the truth. Yes. But it didn't matter. I had power. And I wasn't ready to give it up. Silence. That was it. The moment. Caught on every camera. Replayed 1 billion times in every language on earth. The verdict 3 days later. The courtroom was packed. Trump stared ahead, unreadable. Jim Kerry sat in the back, hoodie up. On the count of conspiracy to defraud the United States. Guilty. On the count of inciting insurrection. Guilty. On the count of obstruction of justice. Guilty. On the count of seditious conspiracy. Guilty. Each word hit like a nail in a golden coffin. Trump closed his eyes. Murmured, Fake trial, fake country, the gavel dropped. Justice was real. Aftermath: Mar-a-Lago was seized. Red gold assets frozen. Trump was sentenced to 25 years in federal prison. He appealed, of course. He tried truthing about prison elegance. He even asked Musk for a drone. No dice. Jim Kerry disappeared again. No farewell stream. No press tour. Months later, someone found a sticky note left on a courthouse bench. Truth is a slow bomb. All I did was light the fuse. JK final shot. The nation Congress passed the Democracy Integrity Act, limiting executive powers. Fox and MSNBC aired a joint broadcast for the first time ever. A bipartisan commission was formed to prevent another January 6th. And a statue was erected in D.C., not of a president, but of a journalist. Jim Kerry. Holding a camera. Standing over a broken mask that says power.